Are you a procrastinator? Do you have a hard time staying focused and getting tasks done on time? If so, you're not alone. Many of us struggle with procrastinating, and it can be difficult to understand why. In this video, we'll look at the 5 most common reasons people keep procrastinating and how to overcome them. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools and knowledge to break free from the cycle of procrastination and start achieving your goals. 5 reasons you keep procrastinating and how to overcome them. The first trigger is perfectionism. Perfectionism is one of the most common reasons people procrastinate. Perfectionism can be defined as the irrational belief that if we don't do something perfectly, then it's not worth doing at all. This leads to an unwillingness to even start a task because of the fear of not being able to do it perfectly. As a result, productivity grinds to a halt as fear of failure and perfectionism take over. The key to overcoming perfectionism is to recognize that it is only your internal belief that you need to be perfect. Everyone makes mistakes, and those mistakes can actually lead to growth. Instead of worrying about perfection, focus on setting realistic expectations for yourself. Challenge yourself to improve, but accept that you are human and can make mistakes without it being catastrophic. Also remember that progress is better than perfection, so try to focus on progress and growth rather than on making something perfect. With these techniques, you can start to break down the barrier that perfectionism has created and move forward with your goals. The second trigger is fear of failure. One of the biggest reasons why people procrastinate is due to a fear of failure. This fear can be overwhelming and can significantly reduce productivity. It is important to recognize that fear of failure is closely linked to perfectionism. Perfectionism can lead to extremely high expectations for oneself, which can make it difficult to start any project. The best way to overcome this fear is to take small steps. Instead of focusing on the end product, it can be helpful to focus on smaller tasks or goals that are necessary for completing the project. Celebrate the small wins along the way, and don't forget to give yourself grace. Remember that mistakes are part of the learning process, and it's okay to not be perfect. Allow yourself to make mistakes and grow from them, rather than dwelling on them or expecting too much from yourself. Taking this approach can help you focus more on being productive instead of being perfect. The procrastination trigger number 3: indecision. When it comes to procrastination, indecision can be a major culprit. When faced with a task, you may have trouble deciding how to approach it or which direction to take. This leads to a feeling of overwhelm, and you decide it's better to do nothing at all. To overcome this type of procrastination, you need to break your task into small, manageable chunks. When faced with something large and complex, it can be hard to know where to begin, so start by focusing on one small step. Break down the project into smaller tasks and prioritize them. This will help you see the end goal more clearly and make it easier for you to decide where to start. It's also important to recognize that making mistakes is part of the learning process. If you're worried about making mistakes, remind yourself that mistakes are how we learn and grow. Perfectionism is not conducive to productivity, so focus on taking action rather than worrying about being perfect. The trigger number 4 is disorganization. Disorganization can be one of the major causes of procrastination. When tasks seem overwhelming and there is no clear plan for how to get started or complete them, it can be tempting to delay starting them. Perfectionism often plays a role here, as we put off the task until we feel confident that the end result will be perfect, which is often unrealistic. The key to overcoming this type of procrastination is to break the task down into smaller, manageable parts. This will make it seem less daunting and more achievable. To help with organization, create lists of the steps needed to complete each task and then set realistic deadlines. Having a clear timeline can help keep you on track and prevent you from overthinking or becoming overwhelmed. Finally, remember to reward yourself when you reach milestones and take regular breaks throughout the task to stay motivated. The last trigger number 5 is distractions. We all face distractions every day. From our phones, to our friends and family, to even our own thoughts, distractions can be everywhere. It's important to recognize when you're being distracted and take steps to overcome them. One way to do this is to set aside specific times for working on tasks and eliminating any potential distractions. This could mean turning off your phone, closing out of social media, or even temporarily disconnecting from the internet. It might be difficult at first, but with enough practice you can master the art of focusing and complete your tasks without any distractions. Another way to overcome distractions is to develop an understanding of why you are procrastinating in the first place. If it's due to perfectionism, it's important to understand that not everything has to be perfect. There is value in making progress even if something isn't perfect. You can then focus on doing your best work within the allotted time rather than trying to make everything perfectionism. By taking the time to identify and address the sources of distraction, you can make great strides in reducing your procrastination and overcoming these roadblocks to success. By understanding the reasons behind procrastination and taking practical steps to overcome it, you can stop wasting time and start becoming more productive in no time. Just remember to be patient with yourself and take it one day at a time.